So let's go ahead and find the mean and the standard deviation using the calculator. So the first thing that you want to be able to do is you're going to press your data button. Okay, so let's press data. And let's go ahead and enter our data. So if you look at all the x values that we have in the previous problem, it was 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we have all of our values right there. And then let's go ahead and scroll to the next list, and let's put in all our probabilities. So it will be 0.2, 0.1, 0.4, whoops, that's wrong, 0.4, and then 0.3. Okay, so there are all my probabilities. Now what we want to do, we're going to do exactly the same steps as finding the mean and the standard deviation of a regular data set. So we're going to press second data. Okay, just like how we did before. We're going to go to one variable statistics, okay, number 2. Let's press enter. Okay, same thing. Here's the only thing that's different. Data is going to be list 1. Frequency, which is basically the probabilities, we got to let the calculator know that the second list is going to be the probability. So we're going to scroll all the way to L2 and press enter. Okay, so if you see here, both L1 and data and frequency L2 are both highlighted. Okay, and if you don't do that, then the calculator will not do it for you. Now let's press calculate. And then the way that you know that you got it right is that number 3 should always have an error. Okay, so here 2 and also n should equal to 1 because you only have one sample instance. Okay, so 2 in this case is going to be your mean, your expected value. That's 1.8, which is what we got in the previous problem for the mean. And then if you scroll down to number 4, which is sigma, that's going to be your standard deviation. Okay, so be aware that now we're looking at number 2 and number 4 as opposed to before where we were looking at number 2 and number 3. Okay, so these are the two things that you really need to make sure that you really get down. Make sure that you press number 2 to get the mean, okay, and make sure that you scroll down to number 4. Okay, so remember, just make sure that the key here is when you go onto one var stats. Make sure that you go from the frequency, you go all the way to L2. Okay, the graphing calculator, exactly the same thing. Just make sure that you have L2 as your frequency as well. Okay.